This is Joe Wong. This week's guest on the Trap Set is Jon Wurster. Jon is best known as the drummer for Superchunk, the Mountain Goats, and Bob Mould. But before his career really took off, he had the opportunity to work with legendary drummer and producer Steve Jordan. In this mini-episode, Jon credits Jordan for helping him come into his own as a drummer. At the end, you'll hear an unreleased track by the Carnies with Jon on drums and Jordan producing. You can hear our full conversation with Jon at thetrapset.net.
The right profile, we made a record, or half a record, with Jim Dickinson, who I think we were the album he did after Pleased to Meet Me by the Replacements. And we got halfway into it, and it was in that time of the 80s where he thought it needed to be more computerized than it actually needed to be. I think he was kind of second guessing the record label that it needed to really be kind of
a computerized roots
radio
rock band.
Friendly. Yes, and this was pre Pro Tools, but it was this thing called the Fairlight.
Right.
And so it's like a very early version of Pro Tools where everything is kind of lined up, and it just ended up sounding really stiff. And he was so great to work with, but it just didn't pan out for this. And so then Steve leaves the band, leaves the right profile, and we become this band called the Carnies, which is basically the same three guys with a new guy. And we have left Arista by this point. Now it's like 1990. And we get a song publishing deal with Warner Chappell, and our person who signed us to this sets us up with a recording session with Steve Jordan, and
producing it.
Yes, yeah. And so he's producing this thing, and this was right after Talk Is Cheap came out. So it's at the height of his work with Keith Richards. And he had just done that great performance on Saturday Night Live with Neil Young of Rockin' in the Free World, which is just amazing. And Charlie Drayton's on bass. And so we went up to the Hit Factory in New York City to do this session with him. And I think we did like 5 or 6 songs, and this guy Nico Bolas was the engineer, and he produced that Freedom album of Neil Young's. So that was all happening. So it was all this big time stuff happening to these 4 nerds from North Carolina at this point. And I learned more from just being around him than anything I've ever done since or anything that's ever happened in my life. And he never once said, play this or do it this way. I don't think he ever really sat over me or stood over me and watched. He was you just soaked up his thing to such a degree that you
do you think that was
influence you.
Intentional on his part? Do you think he knew that it's easier to get what he wanted?
I'm sure.
Not by being explicit about it,
Yep.
but just soft power, basically.
Probably, and
Yeah.
I think it's why he's gone on to be one of the great producers out there, and he knows how to get the best out of you, and he was so encouraging, and he was just fun to be around.
What are the things that you learned from him?
I learned what not to do again, and I would.
What kind of things did you start avoiding?
Dumb fills, playing a lot of fills, not hitting the drums as hard as I had, kind of letting the drums sing a little more. And he was great. I think for almost every song we did, he would just kind of be in the main tracking room, playing the tambourine, just kind of serving as a human click track,
right?
But in such a way that it wasn't
overbearing.
Yeah, and you hear these stories of when Kiss was doing Destroyer, where Bob Ezrin was just pounding on a cigar box with a stick, just like that. I'm sure he was just staring at Peter Criss like this, and but Steve was great. He would just dance a little bit, and it was he was having fun with you while you were playing. So, and that made all the difference in the world. It just took any kind of pressure out of it.